Richie B, the party master, on Up and Go.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. Jody, what date is it, by the way?
Today's the 10th.
Today's the 10th of February. And we say good morning to you and welcome to Up and Go. My name is Richie B. Who is with me this morning?
You know it's your boy Shellz.
And it's your girl Queen Jo Jo. Morning.
Yeah, you know DJ on this in the house.
Yes, I am. Enough respects to everybody and to all the listeners right across Jamaica and around the world. We got a chance to spend, about 4 hours with these wonderful folks who look forward to hearing us every morning. I'm angry, though, although I might not look it. Gas price, ultra low sulfur, $3.06 more. How many weeks have I been complaining about the increasing petrol prices?
Since we've been complaining,
No, we can't continue like this.
Yeah, people feel it, man. And the worst thing is that we just can't understand why.
Can't understand why.
At all.
$3.06. You know, if you convert that to gallons, you're looking at maybe close to $15 additional per gallon when you do the calculation. And remember that this is over a period of time, week after week after week. Me vex.
As it should be, have our right to be.
Yeah, I am. Another thing that we were talking about off here, which I think it's good if we bring it on here, is what's going on in our schools, where I'm seeing videos of fights and students getting stabbed. There's one picture that has gone viral with a young man who has like a pen that they used to stab him from the side of his forehead, and it projects out close to his eyes. He's lucky to be alive.
Yes.
And there's another one with a female student who was stabbed at the side of her cheek. But that is what you must call a telephone cut, man. It's a long cut with maybe 40 stitches.
We just get back to school.
Yeah.
I know
all of this is going on.
This is happening.
So what's the word we're telling them, Shellz? What we want to talk to the youth and tell them?
Yo, as Jojo rightfully saying, like you cry for go to school just for go to this. No, man, education was saying, we're not promoting them
free, man.
at all.
And fun, enjoy days while they have it.
Yeah, I thought the school-based violence was kind of like down a bit, but
it's not gone. It's still around, and it might have been down because of the virtual teaching. But now that they're back in school face to face, so we got to fix that, students. Please, you're on your way to school right now. I had to be talking to my son as I was dropping him off this morning. Just walk away. If there's anything like that, walk away.
My style, that Richie.
Yeah, man.
Who fast like me?
Quarry was a boy to Iman last night. All right, Nzinga is in the news, and so we're going to be talking about her at around about 7:30 in our update. Good morning and welcome. We're on until 11 o'clock. Let's go. WTF.
And that stands for
What the Facts, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that the shrimp's heart is located in its head? Me never know that.
Not at all.
You didn't know that? No, sir. Make we learn something.
Make we try.
Yeah. So the shrimp are aquatic animals that are very popular as food.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, they can be found in both fresh and salt water. Shrimp have 10 legs. Me never know that. And instead of a backbone, they have an exoskeleton that provides protection and structure to their bodies.
Makes sense.
You have anything you can tell us about the shrimp?
Most definitely. A shrimp's heart is located on its head, as we said before. But if we will base it on the exact anatomy of a shrimp, its heart is located on its thorax, just after the head. But both the head and the thorax are covered with a single exoskeleton only. That is why the shrimp's thorax can be mistaken as still part of the shrimp's head. But in general, we see a shrimp divided only into two parts, the head and the tail. We see no thorax in it. With that, we can still say that a shrimp's heart is on its head.
All right.
That's a lot of info on a shrimp I didn't need to know.
Well, let me tell you something. Them can keep all of them facts.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like,
just give me some garlic with it.
Hey, see that?
Or courage for that matter. I ain't gonna think about the heart or the head or the tail. Nah, we're good. We're good. All right, that's of course what we call WTF. What the Fact? And we do it at 7:25 every weekday morning. The shrimp's heart is located in its head. Remember that. All right, update time. Shall we start it over here? In Zinga. And Zinga is in the news.
Yes.
No criminal action against the cops in alleged trimming of Rasta teen, according to a ruling by the Director of Public Prosecutions. She has ruled that no criminal action should be taken against a police woman accused of cutting the hair of Rastafarian woman in Zinga King. The ruling was one of several recommendations handed over to the Commissioner of the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, and that was yesterday. Understand that the police corporal had been accused of cutting the hair of the 19-year-old from Lionel Town in Clarendon, and after she was taken into custody and detained by the cops following an incident at the Maypen Taxi Park, and she was later charged. The ODPP's recommendations do not preclude Ms. King from pursuing civil remedies in relation to the complaint, and we understand that no recommendation is made in respect of a possible investigation regarding Ms. King for the offense of creating public mischief. But her case really just fell apart.
Basically.
Yeah, it fell apart, and they basically identified several, I think as many as 11 inconsistencies in how she might have presented her case.
Right.
So it really fell apart. This is not the outcome that many people might have been
Not at all.
expecting.
Nobody's
Not at
appreciating that. I guess people kind of split on it too, because what happened is that last night on social media, a video of Nzinga King behaving a certain way,
At the police station. That came out.
and I was like, this is odd. Why is this coming out? No, this is odd for me. And then the report is saying that she pop out her locks. I had locks. You don't pop out your locks one by one. That just don't add up any at all to me.
That must be a lot of pain.
And I'm like,
You
a night,
inflict pain on
right?
yourself like that?
Right. So I have
But then they have some witnesses who some
claim that she
Yeah.
was in the station with a cutting tool and nobody saw that she was cutting her locks one by one. It's just some inconsistency that don't sit well with me. But I hope they sort it out, and I hope this doesn't mean, somebody behaving badly doesn't mean that injustice should be a thing for them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. That's one of the items in updates.
Yes, I got.
What else do we have?
I got a very. It's a scary one for me personally, and I know when the listeners hear this, they're gonna feel the same. Agent Sasko's wife, Nicole McLaren Campbell, she shared a scary encounter with robbers while driving into Kingston recently. Days ago, she shared a scary encounter while driving as men on motorcycles, possibly armed and seeking to rob her, or worse, attempted to get her to stop her car while they blocked her on several sides. On my way back to Kingston, Sunday, 8:45 a.m., 4 men on 3 bikes tried to block me into stopping on the road. 2 bikes in front of me and 1 on my driver's side. On the other side was Bush. This is what she wrote on Twitter on February 7th as she recalled the encounter, which could have gone very badly had it not been for her quick reaction. She also quoted, "The blood of Jesus alone and just knowing I had to find a way out and fast led me to keep moving despite the man screaming at me through the window trying to get me to stop. Sped up, he fell behind. I was now right under the first 2 and I just swing out and floored the car," she said, before adding in disbelief, "I can't imagine, I just can't."
It could have been worse. Wow.
It definitely could.
have.
But to add, she later said on Wednesday, February 9th, that she had received many questions about her quick decision to move, despite being in shock. And she credited her husband, Agent Sasko, for her agility,
giving her
in
some
saving.
pointers.
Yeah, definitely giving her
Yeah.
some pointers.
Yeah.
So we give thanks that she's all right though at the end of the day. But
I'm happy she's
robbery
okay.
thing.
That could be a whole different story.
Yeah, it ties in with all what Mars was saying a while ago about the students from Michael
Yes.
who were being robbed in the crossroads vicinity.
Right.
So many,
Have to be
and the
careful, man.
bikers,
man.
are coming up again. It's now time for the proverb of the day. Let's get the recording. Here it is.
When Eskimo have money, him buy fridge.
That was quick.
When Eskimo have money in buy fridge.
Okay,
My
then.
mother used to say that to
Yeah.
me.
I want to look more straightforward.
Yes,
I feel like
everybody
it's
should know what this means.
Translation: when an Eskimo has money, he will purchase a refrigerator. Help us with the meaning, somebody.
And the meaning, when some people find themselves with a little extra cash, they spend it on things that they don't even need. Now we that Christmas.
Women, Bridgets and women. I went there.
Yes, he did. Hello.
Oh,
Look here, the man. We always need a slippers.
They're nice,
or a
too.
dress.
They're nice. I ain't hating. They're nice. They're nice. No,
Oh my God.
No matter the cost.
yeah.
Yes, we always need it.
All right, when Eskimo have money in by fridge, that was our proverb of the day. So Jamaica's tourism industry has recorded a historic first by being the only country in the world with a comprehensive tourism workers pension plan. The official launch of the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, TWPS, took place at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James around about a month or so ago. And while most other pension plans relate to different companies or entities, Jamaica's Tourism Workers Pension Scheme embraces all workers, entrepreneurs, and stakeholders and will benefit hundreds of thousands of persons directly and indirectly employed in the industry. Honorable Edmund Bartlett is here to tell us more about this pension scheme and also to share more information about the launch of the Global Tourism Resilience Day, which will be observed on February 17. Good morning, Minister Bartlett. Welcome to the program. How are you doing today?
Morning, Richie B. Good morning, Jamaica. Very, very thankful to the Lord for His mercies and His grace, and He's kept us, and we're so grateful to Him. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Always a pleasure. I have with me Shellz, who is also a part of our team here right now.
Good morning. Good morning, Minister Bartlett.
Good morning, chap. I hope all is well with you, too.
Thank you, sir. All is well.
Minister, right off the bat, can you tell us a little bit more about the tourism pension scheme?
Well, the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme is the first fully sectoral pension plan ever to be instituted in Jamaica and arguably in the tourism world. I can't say for every other industry in the world, but certainly for tourism. And what it does is to recognize the vast and varied areas of skill sets that are employed in the tourism sector, the varied types of activity that needs to be brought together seamlessly to create a tourism experience. And also, it recognizes that the tourism labor market is at the low end of the remuneration scale, primarily because so much is driven by the individual and the skill and the education required for several of these experiential activities, are not necessarily at a formal, academic level. Because of how people respond to ideas that are converted into, material things and experiences. It's amazing how someone could, over time, present a crab race at a hotel and make money. And he does that and can do that for all his life and makes money every time. Mm-hmm. It takes no intelligence of any great magnitude or any educational level to do that. I'm only making a point of how very basic sometimes an experience can grow and can develop and can emanate.
Yes.
So once you're involved in the industry, you are likely to end up, if you're not very careful and you're not frugal, and it's hard to be frugal when your rates are so low, you end up without the resources to sustain you on retirement. I had the experience with my permanent secretary at the airport in Norman Manley in 2008 when we went to do our usual morning start of the winter season breakfast. And I saw a 78-year-old man pushing one of the trolleys to the luggage. I said to him, why are you still doing it? Well, first of all, he said he's 78 years old. I'm going to ask, why are you doing it? And he said, well, because if I don't, I won't be able to eat. And then I said, something's wrong with it. How long have you been working and doing this? He said, 45 years. I said, oh, my God. Wow. So after 45 years, there was no pension plan for him. There was no social security net that could catch him during this very difficult period of his elderly life. And he had to be pushing trolleys at the airport at that age. So I said to my PS, there's something wrong with that. So we must have a pension plan that can embrace everybody, including red caps. And so we did. And we had the support of both administrations. I have to ensure that is understood, that it's not just all that I did when I was not in government, during the sabbatical. The minister then, Wickham McNeil, and the team continued to work towards getting the plan done.
And that is very good to hear of a consensus between the government and the opposition. No doubt this plan is designed to be of benefit to the workers within the industry. But I'm interested to hear what has been the response from the tourism workers themselves.
Oh, well, we've had over 10,000 registrations since we started in the first week of January this year. And I think that's very strong, and it's growing. I haven't had a report this week yet, but I'm sure that, we're well down the wicket with increases in that, because the interest is very strong all around. And bearing in mind that the workers in this instance are not just defined as those who are at the hotels, but, the craft vendors, the taxi drivers who are focusing on tourism, transport, the jutta drivers and so on, the workers at the attractions all over the country, the raftsmen, and so the whole range of players that have to impact the tourism experience on a daily basis. And that, I think, is very critical. Another critical element of it, which I want to promote, is the augmented member. That is, the member who is 59 years old at the start of the program, or indeed when he registers. And he would be able to get a full pension after 5 years, as though he had been contributing since 18 years of age. And by full pension, we mean the full 200,000 Jamaican dollars per year that the scheme offers at this time. Nice. And that has been made possible because the government of Jamaica has contributed 1 billion Jamaican dollars to the fund.
Very well said, Minister, and we're grateful for that. I'm curious, though, about how the sector is doing, especially during the pandemic. How has the Jamaica's tourism sector been doing during this time? Well,
we have been recovering well. Last year, we recovered from stopover arrivals to nearly 70% of what we had in 2019. But the cruise, of course, has been affected hugely by protocols, particularly the CDC rulings in the U.S. And so they have not recovered very well at all. And it's not just a Jamaican situation. This is all over the world. And so overall recovery then for us was pulled down because of that to about 54% of 2019. But the earnings were strong. In fact, we earned just about, I think, 60-something% of 2019. And that was good. Over $2 billion US dollars was earned by the sector during the time. But I think the bigger point was that the jobs came back, by and large. And we had perhaps about 80% of the workers who were laid off or otherwise furloughed during the pandemic back on the job.
I know the winter tourist season runs from December 15 to April 30. Looking ahead to what's left of the winter tourist season, how is it looking for us, really?
Well, the season started, as you know, a little rocky because of the Omicron strain, which, ran through this country and most of our source markets, like what Jamaicans call sin and salt. And it did affect the arrivals. We were down about 23% January against 2019. Everything is benchmarked 2019. And February has not started so well. However, the bookings remain pretty strong in March, and we're working on the protocols with health, and we think that there is a strong possibility here of a very, powerful March, and that would help to recover some of the losses for the season as we go into April And then the summer is looking quite good too. And Jamaica is likely to see, recovery back to the levels of last year, at least, notwithstanding the problems we have in January and February.
In the little time we have left, Minister, what can you tell us about the Global Tourism Resilience Day? Is it new, and what does it really mean for Jamaica?
Well, Jamaica has been a thought leader in tourism for the last 10 years. And we've come up with a lot of innovation, one of which, of course, is that pension plan we just spoke about. And the other is this, the Resilient Corridor, which we thought as an important way of managing, in a safe bubble, the tourism experience. And we also established the first ever Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, which is at the University of the West Indies here. And we now have satellite centers all over the world. In Kenya, we're going into Barbados. We are in Canada. We just signed an MOU there. We're going to Bulgaria, to Botswana, Namibia, to Spain, and Greece. And on the 20th of February, we open one in Amman in Jordan, and we have also earmarked Riyadh in Saudi Arabia for one, which is a joint arrangement with their sustainability center. So, given the call for the building of resilience, that's the ability to bounce back and to bounce back well and grow after disruptions. And the world has had many, and tourism is susceptible to disruption more than any other industry, but it has that capacity to bounce back fast. We need to help to build that capacity in the countries that are highly tourism dependent but least resourced. And so we thought that there was need for the world to take a more conscious approach to building resilience, a more determined and defined arrangement with resources allocated for resilience building. And consequently, we came up with the idea from Jamaica that there should be a Global Tourism Resilience Day, a single day in the year when that reflection is done and done in a pronounced way, and that each country would, at different points in time, volunteer to be the host for the promotion of that day globally.
For this year, it's February 17, right?
Partnerships with the UN, WTO, OAS, the Caribbean Hotel and Tourist Association, Caribbean Tourism Organization, the Global Travel and Resilience Council, the International Tourism Investment Council, the American Travel Society, and a number of other international agencies, the Pacific Asia Tourism Authority. And we feel that this is a strong statement of confidence in Jamaica and a sense of partnership that we've been able to pull together at a difficult but important time in the history of tourism.
And the date for that is going to be the 17th of February.
17th of February.
Yeah. Minister,
and every 17th of February from this year,
thereafter,
world will observe.
All right, sounds good. I myself will be over in Dubai broadcasting on Bridge 99 FM from the major expo that's taking place there. I know that the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other agencies from Jamaica will be there, and we'll be taking it back to Jamaica. So we're hoping for some good results as we try to make a big impression in Dubai over the next few days.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing you and for us to share in that very historic launch that will be held in the Dubai World Pavilion. And I want to use the opportunity to indicate that the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and the President of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, will both make virtual statements for the launch, and we will have 6 of the top ministers of tourism from the world involving in a ministerial panel, as well as 7 of the strongest entrepreneurs, including our own Adam Stewart, the chairman of Sanders International here
Yes.
And it's going to be a very strong and powerful day for us, and we are looking forward to that.
We're excited, even more excited now with that information that you just shared. Minister, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Catch you on the other side and take care. Thanks so much. Bless you too.
So much.
All the best. All right, a chat there with Minister Edmund Bartlett.
Encouraging.
Very much so. There is a situation I want to mention here, and I want to take time to say thank you to some individuals who were very, very good, like really, really good to me yesterday. Now, you would recall that during the program, Audley had retrieved something that had fallen out of my pocket
Yes.
and had given it to me.
Right.
So I left here with my billfold in my pocket, and I had to make a stop at the university campus of the West Indies. And I felt a little thirsty, so I decided to pop by one of those outlets where you get your juices on campus.
Yeah.
And I found out that I didn't have my wallet with me. All hell broke loose.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
And panic set in, and I tried to retrace my steps, and I'm there thinking, what the hell? Bear in mind that the day before, I had actually received some United States dollars from somebody in order to pay an individual's bill, several hundred US dollars, some Jamaican dollars, all kinds of credit cards and documents, driver's license. I called even Richie here, and I said, Richie, have you seen my billfold? And at the time when I was thinking now that it's just gone, I received a call from my wife who said that somebody apparently had Googled the number for the business place and called up there and said that they have a package for me at the university and asked me to call them immediately. When I called, I spoke with Mr. Cedric Palmer at the main library at the University of the West Indies. He had in his possession my billfold, which Annette had found where I had stopped to try to get a drink.
Wow.
And she retrieved it, took it to the office. Mr. Palmer is actually a justice of the peace. And so they made sure that I got my billfold back with everything in it.
Awesome.
Woo!
Awesome.
I don't know how to say thank you to these folks.
Yes, man.
Believe you
Big
me.
them up.
I don't know how to say thank you. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Richie,
that's
the
really
right
good.
persons found your billfold. That's
No,
all I'm going to
no.
right
That could have gone a
persons.
whole nother way.
All is not lost in this country.
No,
There
it's
are
not.
some good people still here.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you to Annette. I know she's screaming her head off right now. Annette Smith at the main library at the University of the West Indies. There must be something like a national award that she should get.
Right?
You know, I'm going to write the University of the West Indies and highlight that good that she did for me.
Yeah.
Because it must not be kept a secret. I was talking to Sin shortly thereafter, and when I said it to Sin, she could not believe. Right?
Yeah.
You know, and so thank you, Annette. Thank you, Cedric. Big ups to Amania Walters in the same area, and to Alicia, the security officer with who we met as well. Nice. Thank you all very much. Can we give them another big round of applause,
Yes, man.
please?
Big up on the nice.
Thank you. And they're going to be hearing from me over and over again. I won't even go into details on that, but thank you very, very much. It's giveaway time, I suspect.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing right now? It's called The Secret Sound Game. And it's on. We're taking your calls right now on 876-676-4996. Again, 876-676-4996. If you can identify our secret sound, we have a huge gift package for you, gift basket really, and you can win it if you can identify this sound this morning. Here it is. That is our secret sound. Shellz, have you worked it out yet?
Long time.
Okay.
What not tell them?
Okay. Well, brethren, me not started. So let's see. Will we get a winner this morning? We'll find out. Yeah. Good morning to our first caller. Remember, 876-676-4996 if you want to win the prize. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. This sounds like Cunis.
Yes.
Cunis is down there in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. And how's your morning, Cunis?
So far, so good.
Okay, it can turn to great if you give us the correct answer in our secret sound game. Have you worked it out, Cunis?
I'm thinking that it's the sound of a wrench.
A wrench?
Yes.
He says he thinks it's the sound of a wrench. Cunis, listen to the sound again and tell me if that's your final answer. Do you want to stick with that answer or do you want to change it right now?
I'm going to stick with this answer.
And what is that answer?
Sound of a wrench.
Oh boy, Cunis! That is not right, son. I think he found that quite funny. Although him lose, I could hear a chuckle. All right, bye-bye, Cunis. Thanks for trying. Have a great day. And we got another call up in here right now, 876-676-4996. That is the number you use to participate in our Secret Sound game. Let's go in one more time. Good morning, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
She sounds very strong in voice.
Yep.
I wonder if she had some of the porridge that you spoke about earlier.
Probably. Probably.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Vanity from Newport.
All righty then. Nice having you on the program once again. And did you hear the secret sound?
Yep.
Do you have the answer?
I'm sure.
You want to hear it again?
Yes.
Okay, let me allow her to hear it again. That's the sound that you must identify. What sound is it?
One is sound like a cricket. The background is a waterfall or some forest.
Did you say a cricket?
It sounds like a cricket in a forest.
In a forest?
Okay.
A cricket in a forest, she says, right?
I like the specifics.
She's really thinking.
Yes.
You think you did enough to get our gift basket?
No, you don't sound like me win. So I don't think I win.
Well, guess what? I might surprise you. I could.
Really,
and
really,
I would.
really?
I really
Go
would.
ahead.
But only if you had given us the correct answer, and you haven't. Thank you for trying anyway, and best of luck next time, all right?
No problem,
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that's all the time we have this morning. Time runs by so quickly. We do have a guest that we'll be talking to tomorrow morning again.
Yes, try and win my basket. Try.
The one that he has his eyes on.
Yeah.
The longer you take to win is the more Shellz feels that it's getting closer to going home with him.
Yes, sir.
But you have another chance tomorrow morning at around about 9:30 when once again we'll have it for you in the Secret Sound game again. And finally, the sound that you must identify is this. All right, catch you tomorrow morning at 9:30 for another playtime and game time in the Secret Sound game here on the Bridge 99 FM. And it's a new feature we have. It's Man Chat. And this is where we as brothers reason amongst ourselves and with our listeners on several topics of interest to the brothers in our society and in the world at large. So Man Chat this morning welcomes Keenan Falconer. He was one of the awardees at the Prime Minister's Youth Awards recently. He got the award in terms of academic excellence. Keenan's academic journey has seen him become the recipient of over 300 honors, awards, and scholarships from primary to the postgraduate level. As an academic researcher, Keenan has also engaged in several academic endeavors. He has written a book, a chapter entitled Examining the Relationship Between Mental Health and the Economy. That is slated for publication in the work Multidisciplinary Perspectives on Mental Health. And he has done a whole lot more. We're welcoming this morning Keenan Falconer, recipient of the Prime Minister's Youth Award recently. Good morning, Keenan. Welcome.
Blessings.
Good morning, Richie B. Good morning, Shellz.
Good morning, my brother.
First of all, we want to say congratulations to you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're a young man, but you've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
And we're proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Give us a little clearer indication of your journey to where you are right now. A little bit of your background that we have not yet highlighted.
Well, academic journey really started, I guess, from grade 2 at the prep school level. At Arden Prep, I moved on to Arden High. Then I went on to the University of the West Indies, where I did my undergrad in economics and banking and finance, and my postgrad in economic development policy. Some of the academic highlights: I was a finalist for the Rhodes Scholarship in 2017. I was also a recipient of the U.S. Ambassador's Academic Achievement Award in 2011. And I think I started most of my academic research in undergrad when I really realized that there needs to be a lot more data-driven efforts and research-based endeavors when we're designing our different social programs and various initiatives to assist persons through outreach and volunteerism. And I did quite a lot of youth development work and philanthropy in my early 20s. And I think combining that with academia has really been the story of the last maybe 5 to 6 years.
And you're still going strong. I'm sure that there are other things that you will be going on to achieve in this life. The feature is called Man Chat, and we want to inspire our young men through this feature whenever we have it on the program. I want to ask you, Keenan, what really inspired your pursuit of academic excellence, from the very beginning, from the get-go?
Well, I can remember when I was in grade 2, and I think that, when they said that encouragement sweetens labor. So I remember I had finished, I think, probably 5th or 4th in my class. And it was a good encouragement, but I wanted something more. I know I wanted something first place. And especially at the time, even, I guess, contextually, it matters that girls were outperforming boys at the time. I was a top performing boy, but I wasn't at the top of the class. And I wanted more than just 5th place. So I started to work harder. When I got my first trophy at the time in prep school, my first academic award, and then everything the floodgates, I think, opened after that. And I think it would serve as an inspiration, especially to boys, to know that you have the top performing person in the class being a boy, especially when they might be otherwise discouraged at the fact that they're not performing as well as the girls.
Very well said, Keenan. Well, while Richie was introducing you, I just felt the need for go study. Like, I don't know what I go study, I just feel the need to go study. So again, I have to congratulate you, man, as a fellow young Jamaican, man, because just to see what you're doing is really incredible. You touched on it a while ago. One of the inspirations that men can take, young men especially, as it relates to pursuing an education. But how important do you believe it is for young men to take their education seriously?
Right, it's of paramount importance, and I know that boys and girls tend to learn differently, but for young men, it really is of critical importance that they take education seriously. I mean, even at tertiary level, you realize that boys are outnumbered 3 to 1 for when it comes on to women as well. So that clear underrepresentation, I think, can have an impact later on in society. You find that men are not going to really be in some of the spaces that they have traditionally occupied, and it would help, I think, when inspiring younger men and younger boys to see themselves and see the possibilities. So I think in order to continue that societal impact, we have to really get the importance from early in our boys, from very early in the primary level, that they should start to really focus on education.
Very well said.
So do you think that the society, though, can do much more to ensure that our boys are not lost and that they actually focus and take their education seriously? And if so, do you have any suggestions that you might want to make?
Well, I really think it does come down to seeing themselves in a more positive light. When we highlight men in society who are doing great things, not just even in academia, but in sports and in other various fields of endeavor that young boys can aspire to. Of course, as I said, young men and young women, they do learn differently, and women, young girls tend to mature a bit faster than boys. So our boys really need a lot more help from early to be able to see those possibilities.
What's next for you, if you care to mention?
Well, I have been shortlisted as a finalist for the Fulbright Scholarship to study in the US, and that would hopefully be the start of my PhD, which I would hope to pursue in either public policy or public administration beginning this September.
Nice, man.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I wish you well, continued successes, and continue to make yourself and your family and all of Jamaica proud through your achievements. We congratulate him in closing. Of
course, man.
Keenan, we're proud of you.
Keenan.
Thanks so much for talking to us in Man Chat, and all the best. All right, bro?
So much for having me.
All right, our pleasure. All right, one of the recipients of the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence, and that was a chat with Keenan Falconer inside of Man Chat, right here on Up and Go. Pull up that.
Pull up.
Yeah, Bushman. How you doing, my brother?
I'm alive and well.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Richie.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, say, we're always doing the music, and health is our wealth. You know me, I said, because without life, you know, I have nothing to talk about. From you have life, you have everything you want, you know?
Yes,
So I'm alive and well, and I'm giving thanks. And you know, we do have a challenge, because for the last
2 years,
two years, we've been having this challenge of this pandemic, and trust me, in comes a thing called the fittest of the fittest.
Yes, sir.
True.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. True.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And
True.
and you're here because you're one of the fittest of the fittest. But I want to specifically ask you to address how you have been coping, really, during the pandemic. What have you been doing?
Music. One of the greater thing is that I think me never see it coming, but me just do it. My studio, from 2002, my studio is at home, professional studio, not just a joke thing. So now, after the pandemic really chip in the right way, where this work from home comes in, this is where my thing becomes so relevant. You know? So me just, the internet, the IGs, the stuff like that.
Yeah.
And give me a minute there.
All right.
Mr.
He's going to get rid of that little noise you're hearing in the background. And if you just joined us, we're talking here with Bushman, well-recognized name within the music fraternity here in Jamaica and the world over. And he's very, very big. Places like Europe and these places, man. Oh, yeah. Bushman. Yes, I am.
So look what's going on now.
Tell me.
Because I'm in New York right now.
Okay.
So how beautiful is technology? We can find Richie B and Richie B find Bushman and bring it to the audience fans.
Yeah.
We listen reggae music. We love Richie B. We love the bridge. We love Bushman music. Just music in general. And the technology really great for me. So back to the reasoning now. So the pandemic now, having this studio at home, it really connects everything together. And then with the IGs and the Facebook and the Twitters, people can really contact me and say, yo, Bushman, you know, we want to do some dub plate, we want to do a 45, we want to do a collaboration. And then this moves on to management, and then management process it, and then we just get the work done.
Yeah. So you have kept busy, even although you can't necessarily go out there and perform.
Regardless of what.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then, you know, the whole Rebel Salute incident in 2019 really, you know, Richie, sometimes someone think some things are for bad, but it work out in a good way. Because even though I one would post it because me get emotional and think it was ridiculous, it really worked, because there are a lot of songs that I do that people thought it was other artists singing them songs. And then really and truly this social media platform right across the board, it just brings people to the reality, to update their mind, and people are say, "Yo, I ain't sing the song there."
Right.
I ain't sing the song there.
And
the mighty, smooth song him have.
The incident that he's talking about was at Rebel Salute, where there was an issue in terms of his time or the amount of time he was allowed to perform, and he really got emotional because he felt that he was not being allowed to express himself.
Being cheated, and Richie B knew the history of my career, all the challenges, and then it's like the cup just full. And my passion for music just bring me to a level where tears of happiness still, and tears of joy, same way, and tears of sadness. Everything just blending out.
There were a number of sympathizers to your experience, though, and you live to tell the tale and to continue to do great music. I have to get one in before Shellz asks you the other question. Somebody messaged me once we announced that you'd be on this morning, and they say, yes, we know that he's from St. Thomas, but Richie, you have to ask him, how am I getting the name Bushman? Where did that name come from?
All right, though. So, Steely and Cleveland was my first producer. They are the second twin in reggae music, but they are in the dancehall genre. Sly and Robbie just rule the
one
roots.
drop, yeah.
So, Steely and Cleveland, they thought that Junior Melody, because that was my first name, Junior Melody, they thought that too much melody in the business. Because the likes of a Mikey Melody, singing melody, Courtney Melody, and so much melody. So one day when I sing, we make the album Naya Man Chant, and I was singing, bro, you naughty bongo Congo, will you make it come down? When you shoulder it fit come down. And I said, Steely, I said, me get him name. Bushman.
Just like that.
Say, what kind of name that? It's a pretty name for call my country boy. I already killed my lad. You know what I mean? But after we do some research now and found out that the Aborigines in Australia is called the Bushman. And also in West of Africa, a Bushman is a medicine man. So there and then now I start putting the concept to the name. My bio came out, my debut bio, the first bio that wrote up about my life. It speaks of Bushman, the musical medicine man. So that's the concept that came about the name. So there and then now, being a musical medicine man, we have to create different medicines for different reasons, different ailments. So that is why at times one will listen Bushman and get a shade of Dennis Brown, a shade of Luciana, a shade of Peter Tosh, And then I think the name was ordained because I got the chance to do a tribute to Peter Tosh.
I remember that.
Bushman sings the Bush Doctor.
Fantastic work you did on that project.
Yes, man. And I mean, the feedback was tremendous, and I think it's still growing. Because at times a Bushman will play and people still think of Peter Tosh sing and know that say, yeah, I know Peter Bushman,
Yes.
It's a great energy.
Great. Speaking of good energy, artists, Shellz here. I just want to say thank you for your music because I'm a young reggae listener. Reggae was the first genre I was introduced to, you see me? And DJ Audley run your tune them, and for be able, as a young Jamaican, for recognize say you sing them tune there is a pleasure. Yes, you understand me? But what I want to know is, we know your classics, we know say your music timeless, but I want to know, you have any recent projects working on right now?
Yeah, after Conquering Land that was released 2018, we did stand up. We worked with Zojak Music and we did stand up. We did Brighter Day, which speaks of the abduction of kids, the killing of women in Jamaica.
Big tune.
One of the things,
big tune.
That's something
big
really
tune. Big tune.
But one of the things I love about my music, it grows on the people because when the music over rotates, it don't really get the chance to grow, So my music grew on the people. So we had stand up, and Donovan Jermaine have one where I come out were really relevant to the way we are kill with one another. And then I see it like Tupac wanna murder because blacker kill, copper kill black. White kill, blacker kill black. That's what the song I say. Innocent murder. When will this stop? White a kill black, innocent murder, when will this stop? Cop a kill black, you know? Yes, I.
Give thanks.
Yes, I.
So you're still putting in the work, and you know,
a lot of work, and up to date now. Next to me is my latest, you know, which speaks of it's really it influence it's the inspiration and influence is coming from this pandemic. This, you know what pandemic means? It's like an outdoor prison to be house jail. So a lot of us can relate to this song being at home, maybe our next half or spouse or what you would say, or girlfriend or whatever is abroad. So basically it's more like a Zoom kind of conversation like we're doing right now. FaceTime, video call, so on. So I'm expressing, tired of this long distance relationship. It's getting to my head. I'm tired of FaceTime and video talking. I need you in my bed. I'm really tired of being home alone, making love over the phone. Girl, I wish if you would come back home and let me love you. Well, next to me. I need you next to me. To love you is my destiny. And then one other thing that I've learned from my first producer is to make sure that when you sing, the words are pronounced properly and they are flawless. So when you listen, you have to listen twice.
That is one of your hallmarks, Bushman.
Yes,
listen, man, it's a pleasure. We have another feature coming up, but it's great catching up with you. I want to put some space in so we can get a slice of Brighter Day, which is one of my more recent favorites from your catalog. We implore you to keep on keeping on. Give my regards to the Empress and the rest of the family, and keep on keeping on, bro. Enough respects every time.
Bridge, doing a great work. Give thanks. It's a pleasure to be a part of this.
Respect. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for Constitutionally Speaking. And this feature, Constitutionally Speaking, is brought to you every Thursday morning at this time, courtesy of the Office of the Public Defender. This morning, the topic will be the effectiveness of the Zones of Special Operations, ZOSO. And we do have the Deputy Public Defender joining us this morning. Mr. Herbert McKenzie is our guest at this time. Good morning, Deputy Public Defender McKenzie. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. You weren't hearing me in the first instance, but I was hearing you.
Oh, all right. No problem. Well, now everyone is hearing, both, all of us.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, I'm Richie B, and I'm joined by Shellz in this segment. Shellz, you want to say good morning to the Deputy Public Defender?
Greetings, sir. It's an honor to be hearing from you this morning.
The same here, sir. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Mr. Mack, how many ZOSOs currently exist?
All right. We have 7 currently existing. The most recent one was the one in Salomar that was declared on the 16th, I think, of January this year. And in that one, the Public Defender Office, in collaboration with the Justice of Westmoreland, the Reverend Custis Hartley Perrin, had a walkthrough and a tour of the area over the last couple of days. This was between Monday and Tuesday. That one, we toured it extensively. And we spoke to citizens in the area. We spoke to JDF members and JCF members, called the Joint Force members. And all in all, there was nothing adverse to report. On the part of the citizens, everybody, barring none that we have met, wholly endorsed and embraced the ZOSO. In fact, at some of the points that we met with citizens, they were unanimously of the view that had the ZOSO not been in place, we and them couldn't have been there on the road talking at that hour of the day. And I'm talking broad daylight because we started the tour from around 9:30, and we were in the community on foot until minutes to 1, and that was the general view. Abe and Suckling, everybody were in agreement. In fact,
So generally speaking, you would say then that the Zosos are achieving their intended purpose?
We would say so with one caveat. And not only because we heard from people, but because what we have observed generally when these special measures are implemented. And it is this. As soon as the Zozo is lifted, or in the case of a state of emergency, is dismounted, we go on back to what occurred before. So it's a case as if the miscreants, fully aware of the presence of the troops, basically hide arms, bury weapons, or just simply go into recess and say, let me hold the violence down and wait out these operations, and then they come back. But for the duration that the Zozo exist, there is a lull in violence because the Costas and his JP are very hard-working set of justices. They were with us all the day. And when I say all the time, I mean the public defenders, I'm sorry. They try their utmost best to keep in touch with the people, to actually keep in touch with security forces, to share with the security forces what they can, and to actually empathize with the people in the area and what is going on. So they very well are familiar with happenings there. And in fact, I need to mention the bishop who is in charge of the peace management initiative in that parish. He, like the Costas and the justices, is giving human service in the area. The problem, Mr. Burgess and your co-broadcaster, with the Zozo in Savlamar, and we suspect it is for all the Zozos, is when the operation enters the third phase, which is called the build phase. There is usually an announcement of the shortage of funds to establish these social amenities. And when it comes to Savlamar, it is going to take an Herculean effort to deal with this part or this phase of the operation because, it is a town that is crisscrossed by a series of canals and trains. And I tell you, when we walked through the Zozo, every canal is filled, every canal is stagnant, every canal, the water is turned to green, and people have started to deposit garbage in them. In fact, in one case, we saw the body of a dead, decaying dog lying in a canal. Another canal, I mean, a 13-year-old boy could step across it, but it seems to be deep. But the fact that it is green, it's foul-smelling, and it becomes sort of like an area for receiving garbage and a dumping area. So to that extent, it is going to take a great deal of resources for implementing the social amenities and cleaning up that town once the Zozo enters into the builder phase, where the troops are no longer necessary and the social infrastructure implementation that kicks in. And that is not unique to Savlamar, but I mention that because, Savlamar is a town which is either at sea level or below sea level. So the tide has a bearing on what obtains in the waterways that flows through the town. And right now, when we went there, it wasn't high tide, but the water in the canals were high enough to be conspicuous. So if you imagine at high tide, all of those water rise to a level that they overflow the banks of their canal, come onto the road, and in most cases, where they're adjacent to residential property, they flow into the people's property.
So Mr. McKenzie?
Yes, sir.
So Shellz here. So would you say then that there's a need for more Zozos island-wide?
For the violence-prone areas, there's a need for the Zozo or any sort of measure that actually curtails the violence but respect people's rights.
Okay.
But for us here, the important part is not only the clear and hold of the miscreants, but the build. Once control has been established and stability restored, the build phase. Because you don't have the build phase, apart from the miscreants, the gun runners, and the criminals resuming their daily activities, then the infrastructural situation is going to be as it were, and nothing will change. It's sort of like you have a wound, you put a band on it to stop the bleeding, then you take off the band and the bleeding starts. The social infrastructure is integrally tied into what obtains in the community insofar as criminality and violence is concerned. I'm not saying which causes which, but I'm saying that it's inextricably bound. They are inextricably bound.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was about to say that, the initiative that you mentioned earlier, the walkthrough, I think that is a very, very good initiative. Who are some of the agencies that accompanied you on these walkthroughs?
All right, that particular walkthrough, it was a collaboration between the Office of the Public Defender and the Custos. So the people in it were is Justices of the Peace himself and the gentleman who leads the Peace March Initiative team down there. The police came with us too, and there were some citizens who joined us in the walkthrough. But it wasn't a multi-sectoral activity. It's simply a planned thing between the Office of the Public Defender and the Custos and the Justice of the Peace. And there were Justices of the Peace. And they were quite cooperative, supportive, and they share with us.
Yeah. I think we have enough time for one more question. And I want to ask, as you mentioned, the citizens, how does the Office of the Public Defender really ensure that the rights of citizens are protected in these ZOSOs?
All right. It's a multitude of ways, but the main thing is for citizens to report. Not just citizens, police too, because sometimes police are subject to abuses and they complain that they don't get the type of support and response that they think they deserve from their organization. So what we do is expect people to report to us. In addition to that, our own observation and the walkthrough we did yesterday would be one of those occasions on which we can bring our observation to bear and see where our intervention is necessary. But I can tell you, though, the citizens are not shy of complaining. I mean, even for some things which are for their own benefit, they complain. I need to make one point, though, before I leave.
Yes.
Is that part of the zone is a curfew, or is that the security forces implement. When they established a curfew, they started from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning. The citizens think, and in some cases with justification, that it stifles their economic activity. So, for example, they give an example of a man working or a woman working in the same Montego Bay, ends work at 5. When she's coming into Savlamar, by then 6 o'clock curfew time has already started. So technically, she's in breach of the curfew. Much to the credit of the security forces, once they provide the ID and explain, the purpose of their movement, they normally allow them. But it shouldn't be left to the goodwill or the charity of the security forces. Perhaps there could be some thought about pushing their curfew back. But we know Jamaican, Mr. Burgess, and your colleague there. Yes. If you put it to 8 o'clock, they might want it to 9 o'clock. And if you put 9 o'clock, they might want it 10. But in reality, it's something that could be considered. And, we spoke to the police down there, and they too wouldn't have a difficulty, taking that as a consideration in their operation.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. I really enjoyed our deliberations this morning. I'd like to ask you to say hello to Madam Public Defender Arlene Harrison Henry.
I will.
And I wish you... Yes, go ahead.
She probably is listening in to us.
All right. Good morning, Madam. And you have a great day today. Thank you for all the information you shared. And we catch up with you again come next week, Thursday. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
All the best. All right. That was Constitutionally Speaking, a feature that we air every Thursday morning around about 15 minutes after 10 o'clock until 10:30. And it's sponsored by the Office of the Public Defender. This morning, our guest was the Deputy Public Defender, Mr. Herbert McKenzie.
Richie B, the Party Master, on Up and Go, The Bridge, 99 FM.